Here you can see what climate change in action means to the natural vegetation, because you see a lot of dead trees down there. Trying to zoom in a little bit. Most of them are chestnut trees, and they have died for multiple reasons, because they have been very stressed due to a combination of diseases, pest insects called oriental gall wasp, and also drought, because the last 3 years here have been exceptionally dry. Basically from May till November it hasn't rained, or it has rained very rarely here. And here we are at around 500-600 meters altitude, and normally it's quite humid here. Historically it rains quite a lot here. That's why it's so green, because as you look around you can see it's rather green, like those trees over there. But unfortunately this is changing, very likely due to climate change. And the chestnut tree, what used to be an extensive crop, meaning you didn't have to take a lot of care of them. They were pretty die-hard, and it has actually become a very intensive crop. You do need to take a lot of care of it. You need to water it constantly, regularly, if you want to assure its survival. And you know, it's still looking very beautiful, this region. But if you have a good look, a proper look, and you know a bit what's going on with climate change, you can actually see a lot of signs that it's going really in the wrong direction. Also, the other side of the mountain, you see a lot of dead trees. Depends a bit on the light. Sometimes it's hard to see than other moments. But what's predicted for mountainous Mediterranean regions like here is that we'll see a big shift in vegetation types. Those forests, at the end of this century, they might consist of completely different species, with a dominance of maybe wild olives and especially holm oak trees, and most of the deciduous trees will probably have gone. And what's so fascinating is that this slope here, where you see all those dead trees, is actually a northern slope. So east is there, north is there, so northeast facing or north facing, and normally those are actually the best spots for chestnuts to grow and to survive in the natural context, because they are not a true Mediterranean species like the olive tree, for example, which is planted more on the southern slopes, like you see there, which is facing southwest over there. And yeah, that's just the reality of climate change, that big changes are happening already. And you can imagine if we add 1 or 2 or 3 degrees Celsius more, this will have catastrophic effects on the vegetation here. So yeah, it's pretty sad to see, actually, because you see actually not everything, but most deciduous trees, they are all dying. I could also make a video of the fruit trees here in the village. Almost all of them are dying at a very big scale. And that's the problem from Southern Europe. Next, let's say, after the trees there are shrubs, and after the shrubs there's the desert. Basically you can say climate change like Corsica becomes Sardinia, and then becomes Sicily, and then becomes Northern Africa, more or less, in terms of temperature at least, you can say that. And so this is pretty sad if you like trees. But in northern regions, the same changes and maybe even bigger changes are coming, because as you go more towards the poles, it gets climate change gets faster and more intense. But the advantage of a country like the Netherlands, for example, is that yes, there could be a lot of trees that actually are very dominant, like beech trees, for example, which probably can't deal with climate change. But the advantage that you have in those northern regions is that you can get trees that already grow in, for example, southern France, and you can plant them in the Netherlands, and they should be able to grow at least for quite some time. And that's, in my opinion, the difference between the south and the north. And this is also coming back to agroforestry systems, a big challenge, because as long as you can irrigate, yes, you can grow a lot of trees, but of course water resources become also scarce, and it's not very easy in the south. But it's a pity, especially to see all this beautiful nature suffer.